Hello there and welcome to the Testingopedia channel. This is the first video on the channel, so thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, it will mean a lot to me for the future work. This video is also the first one of the series, The Basics, where we will cover the basics of the software testing. So in this video we will be talking about what is software testing and where the software testing is taking part in the waterfall model. So let's begin. If you open the Wikipedia page for software testing, you can see that the software testing is an investigation conducted to provide stakeholders with information about the quality of the software product or service under the test. This may seem a little bit confusing at the beginning, but don't worry, I will try to explain it a little bit better during this video. So basically, in a simple definition, software testing is a set of activities that are made to check whether the actual software product matches the expected requirements and to ensure that the software product has no bugs. And also, besides the bugs, during the testing process, you should also look for any gaps or missing requirements, or you can also give some ideas for improvement. For example, how to improve the user interface, how to make the software more user-friendly, etc. And during this process, during the testing process, we use a combination of manual and automation testing. So in order for you to understand it better, I will give you a simple example from the traditional software development methodology. Waterfall model is one of those traditional software development methodologies, and basically is the simplest way that where we can understand where the testing is taking part during the development process. So basically this is the waterfall model. As you can see, first there is a step for requirements. After the requirements are done, then we are moving to design and designing the software architecture. After the design is done, we are making the implementation of the software. After the implementation is done, we are making the verification. Basically, this is where the testing part is. And at the end, we are just doing the maintenance. But in order to understand this better, let's look at one simple example. For example, the software development in the waterfall methodology starts with the requirements, as we saw. So imagine that you are representing a software development company and you have a meeting with the customer. The customer said, "Hey, I want a website for scheduling events." And you said, "No problem, we can do that. How do you like to do the website? What do you want to be included in that website?" And basically, those kind of conversation where you're gathering the requirements from the customer is called the requirements phase in the waterfall methodology. And then the customer said, "Okay, I want a search bar where I can search for an events. I want an option for adding events. I want also an option for canceling events. And also I want the users to be able to add some comments to the events." So that is done in the requirements phase. After this is done, we are moving to the analysis. Basically, you're sitting with the customer and you're saying, "Okay, based on your wishes, we need to write the software requirement specification and to make an analysis." And basically, based on those requirements, we are making a document called software requirement specification. Basically, the software requirement specification should contain all the requirements from the user, but written in details. For example, the customer said, "Okay, I want a search bar where I can search for the events." And then there are a lot of questions that you can ask him. For example, do you want to search them by the name of the event? Do you want to search them by date, by popularity? Or you want to search them by location maybe? Or you want to search them by category? So, and based on those, we are writing the software requirement specification where we will say the website should have a search bar that will provide the user with possibility to search for events by the name of the event. The user should be also able to search for events by category. The user should also be able to search for the events by the location. And all of those requirements are written in this software requirement specification. After that document is done, then we are moving to our next phase, which is design, where you, as a representative of a software company, you are talking with the development team. For example, you have 4 developers, one of them is sleeping, but you're saying, okay, let's make the design. And during this phase, you're actually thinking about the architecture of the software. Okay, what kind of technology we will use, how we will organize this, what kind of database do we need, what kind of tables do we need in the database, how we will organize the components, uh, and you are thinking about the architecture and the design of that product. And you are doing that planning here in the design phase. At the next step, after you've done all of that planning, you are moving to the implementation stage. Implementation stage is basically the coding, where you can see in the picture we have the same group of the developers. Now one of them is working on the form for adding events. The second developer is working on the list of events. The third developer is working on reporting if the user wants to have some reports about the events. And the fourth developer is angry because he was sleeping and didn't pay attention at the design phase. And he always gets some errors. So this is an implementation phase where that software is developed. After all the implementation is done, then we are moving to the testing phase. So you can see that in the waterfall model, we are not doing any testing while until everything is planned and everything is coded. So when everything is implemented, we are starting with the testing. And here, as a tester, uh, we are saying, okay, let's test this. And based on that software requirement specification that we saw at the beginning, we are making the testing. And also, we are not just doing that, we are also trying to test the performance of the software, the security of a software, the usability, and etc. Not just functional part, but we are also testing the non-functional things like performance, security, etc. Maintainability. And if we find something, for example, we find some bug or we find some missing requirement, then we are reporting a bug, which is then which will then be fixed by the developers, and then we will test that bug again. So this is the simplest example of software testing. Basically, after everything is developed, then we are taking that software application and we are making tests for it, manual and also automation tests. After everything is tested and we are sure that all the requirements are covered and that everything works as expected, then we are moving on to the next phase, which is the deployment. The deployment is basically we are installing that website and on the customer's environment, and we are enabling them to work on their website. So the customer here is happy, he said, okay, nice, I've got my website, and the customers can use that website. After that, in the future, we only making the maintenance of that software, because we should maintain this website to keep our customers happy. So this model is called the waterfall model, and it is one of the traditional software development methodologies. As you can see, um, there is a lot of planning in advance before we came into the testing part, and we are not starting the testing phase until everything is done. Uh, in today's methodologies, it's a little bit different, but this is just for you to know how the testing part is done and where the testing is taking place in the software development methodology. And the waterfall model is the simplest and the most um, simpler way to describe this part. So basically, during the testing phase, we are getting the website that is developed, we are checking that all the requirements are covered, and we are trying to find some gaps, some missing requirements, some bugs, or we can find some ideas for improvement. And also, we are not just testing the functional part, we are also testing the non-functional part, like performance, security, load testing, etc. For them we will talk about in another video. So that's about it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed. This is just a brief explanation what is software testing, and in the next videos we will cover a lot about it in details. So again, thanks for watching. Please click like, subscribe to the channel, and don't miss the future videos. See you. Bye.